Hello, everyone. You're listening to Keziah Glow, coming to you straight from New York City. And I am so excited today to share with you such an amazing experience that I had at the 2012 Black Girls Rock concert and show. Woo! Man, I'll tell you, it was so inspiring and empowering to be in the audience and in the presence of such icons, amazing talents, and just humans who, let's say, have had such an impact on our society and our community, and who have created lasting impressions on us as individuals and throughout the world. How amazing. I mean, I just felt like I was on top of the world and I was a part of it. Well, today I am lucky enough to catch up with saxophonist, composer, band leader, and vocalist extraordinaire. I bring you from the cast of 2012 Black Girls Rock, Miss Camille Thurman. Yay! So Camille, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and just how it made you feel, how it felt being amongst, the big stars and talents, people such as Alicia Keys, Anthony Hamilton, and India Arie was there. Just tell us how did it feel to be a part of that for you, participating?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I mean, to be working in the same room with musicians like SWV, who I remember distinctly singing along to their songs on the radio at 4 years old, to like working at India Arie. I mean, I remember listening to her in college, studying and having her music behind me, trying to get through my finals for trying to graduate college. And it was such a great experience. I loved every minute of it. For this event, I just felt so proud and honored to be a part of this great cause, because it was, Black women getting together who worked in all kinds of fields of dance and music and drama and social justice, and it just warmed my heart so much just to be a part of this great experience and opportunity. And then on top of that, just to know that we're getting together trying to make it right for the next generation of, young Black girls who are trying to find their way. So I was just very, very humbled by this experience and happy to be a part of it. Oh my gosh, working with India Arie was like the highlight of the experience. He's such a down-to-earth and warm person, and that's the great thing about this experience of being in Black Girls Rock and playing in the all-female band. You get to meet these musicians that you usually probably just get to hear them on the radio or see their face on a poster, but to be working with them up close, one-on-one, it's humbling. Like India, she just gave us a private concert right in front of us. I mean, this was supposed to be our rehearsal, and she basically just it was like MTV Unplugged. Like, okay, you like these songs? All right, I'm gonna give them to you. And we were just singing along and just playing along. There was no music. It was just like all pure feeling and just right in the moment. She was just, I loved working with her so much. And then Anthony Hamilton, oh my gosh, his voice. It's one thing to hear it on the radio, but it's another thing to hear it up close. And he was just, his personality, aside from his voice being fantastic, his personality was just so cool and chilled. He was just joking with us, and he was just like, just like family. We'd been there for 4 days rehearsing 10 hours straight, and these artists just came in like, hey, come on, all right, I'm gonna pick up from where you left off and let's get this done, and meanwhile have some fun. So I just enjoyed myself.
So we always hear a lot about showbiz, and we see the glam, we see the television, the movies, or we get the album, we download it on iTunes, but sometimes we don't realize as a listener or the person on the outside just the process that it takes to get to that point, the preparation, and just some things that you may have had to overcome, and, you know, obstacles in the way. Give us a little insight story. We want to know what really went on behind scenes.
Well, I got the call from Kim Burse, who was the music director for Black Girls Rock, who happened to also be the music director for Beyonce's all-female band. And I was really, really close friends with a couple of the horn players from the Beyonce band. And the call was a complete surprise, but it's kind of funny because for a while I'd been trying to work with Kim, and a couple of opportunities came where it didn't quite work out. So when she called me this time, I was like, I'm available, absolutely, thank you so much. It wasn't easy getting to this point because there were a couple of times where I had to deal with some rejection, or, you know, they didn't know you existed, or they just, you know, it wasn't the right moment at the right time, and I kind of had to, you know, learn how to deal with it and cope with it. One thing in particular, there was an opportunity to work in Revel with Beyonce, and I was hoping to get it because some of my friends told me, like, hey, we're rooting for you. We gave your name. We're hoping that it works out. And I didn't get the call. And I was really, really crushed by it at first. And it took a little second to kind of pick myself back up and get myself on the feet, dust myself off, and, you know, be like, hey, this is okay. This is not the end. You're going to work, you're going to keep practicing, you're going to get your body right, you're going to get in shape, you're going to learn whatever you need to learn, you're going to keep getting stronger, and the right time, the right opportunity will come. And sure enough, it did happen like 2-3 months later. So I was very happy to get the call from Kim and say yes, and it was just great working with her. She's an awesome musical director, great person, you know, really, 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 really gifted, and I was just so happy to work with her.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the industry.
With this kind of industry, a lot of it, I would say, is about how well you play, but more than that, most importantly, it's really about how your personality is, how your mind is. Are you mentally, you know, strong enough at a point where you're able to handle pressure in situations where you don't have much time? Are you able to handle criticism? Are you able to handle making adjustments in a speedy amount of time to be able to get yourself at the right, you know, place at the right time where you need to be? And for this, you know, opportunity, it took some work on my part to have to, you know, get ready for it. I had to work out because I realized that, you know, a lot of times it's about how you look. And it's not a matter of being, you know, becoming a supermodel or becoming, you know, super duper skinny, but I had to work on my health. I had to make sure that my weight was in the right, you know, range, because when you're working on television and when you're working with cameras, you're dealing with, you know, lighting. You're also dealing with the fact that the camera adds extra weight to you. And then also, most importantly, it's about how you feel. When you're playing a wind instrument or any instrument, you have to make sure your body is strong enough to be able to not just blow and be able to play for long periods of time, but also to be able to travel and to be able to carry your instrument and be able to, you know, go with long days of practicing and rehearsing, and then be able to do the hit. And then mentally you have to be able to be at a point where if you're given information, you're able to store it quickly and be able to spit it back out right away. And it's not about, you know, it's not really about your ego or anything, which is another thing you learn instantly, because when you're working with several artists, you don't matter. What it's all about is making sure that everybody is on the same page and that the music comes together, and that whoever is that showcase person that's being featured, they're put in the best light, and that you are able to work as a team and get them to be where they need to be.
Right. So now, musically speaking,
a couple of things that are really, really key into being able to work in environment are, one, having a great ear. Many times you're not reading music and you're given phrases and you have to be able to hear them, know where they are, know where they place on your instrument, and then on top of that be able to execute them. Another thing also is harmony. A lot of times, especially as a horn player with the horn section, we came up with our horn lines. They weren't written. We came up with them. And sometimes Kim, she would give us an idea and be like, well, try to make something off of this idea. Bam. Okay, we got this idea. All right, let's make it into something. Okay, we got a line. Next, okay, let's harmonize it. Bam, harmonize it. Okay, how are we going to place it? Okay, here's the form of the tune. This is where we can come in. This is the verse. This is the chorus. We'd have to be able to know quickly and mentally how to plot the tune in our heads so that we knew where to come in, and also not just where to come in, but also know, is it tasteful? Are we coming in too much with horn lines? Or, okay, maybe we should put it here, and then maybe here we should lay out. And also just being able to have memorization skills. Oh my goodness.
Right.
We did not write the music down. If we did, we wrote down little notes for form. But I know for me, I memorized my music because it was much easier to do that. And we had to be able to do it at a short amount of time and also be able to do it quickly too, because sometimes even though within that short amount of time we might have it, okay, we're going to do it this way, but then you find out that, we're going to cut this out, we're going to cut that out, we're going to stick this here and there. You have to be able to rememorize it again and then be able to execute it too. So those were very important key things as a musician that I kind of, discovered going along this journey. Also, another thing was being able to focus. When you're in a situation where you're rehearsing with an entire band, especially as a horn player, I noticed that whenever the rhythm section was practicing something, or whenever, the vocals were doing something, you had to keep your attention up, because you couldn't allow yourself to become idle, because even though other sections were working on their music, you had to keep yourself, still focused and still preoccupied. So what we would do as horn players, we would, get together and figure out strategies, like, okay, what's going to be the line for this tune? Okay, where are we going to put it? All right, what our notes are going to be? Because you would never know when an artist would come in and you had to be ready at your post, ready to play, And we had to make productive use of our time, because it was a lot of time that we had to practice. So by the time you got on the stage, or by the time the artist came, you had to have your stuff together. So focusing was very, very, very important to grasp and be able to do right away.
There's so much to this, so much that we just don't see.
As a musician working in this field, image is very important. Just like you would come into an office meeting and a business and come in with a suit and tie and a briefcase, showing that you are ready to conduct business. It's the same deal with the music industry. We were dealing with artists every day, and at the same time, you never knew when an artist would just pop up and just show up and, be like, okay, let's go over our music. So you had to come in prepared and, ready to, as if you were going to be filmed for something, or if you were going to be working with an artist, you had to come in dressed and ready and, look the part. Because it was very important to do that. How can somebody take you seriously and, work with you if they're a Grammy Award winning artist and you're coming in looking like you just, went running in the park or something?
Wow, Camille. We truly thank you. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this feels the same. Totally moved by your story. It's something that all of us, we have to face, going through stuff, overcoming things, whether it's our health or a circumstance or a person, and just having to prevail no matter what and push through. So we give you 2 thumbs up and big kudos for reaching for your dreams, and also letting us in to your vulnerable side, you know, admitting how it really feels to be an underdog, you know, when you're trying to get to something and there's just stuff standing in the way and you're scared or you're frustrated. You know, it's something that all of us have to face as humans. So, you know, it's just really encouraging to see you do that. Thank you so much for sharing. Just tell us when the Black Girls Rock is actually scheduled to air on television and which network?
Black Girls Rock will air nationally Sunday, November 4th on BET at 8 p.m. and internationally on Tuesday, November 13th at 8 p.m.
And what is life after Black Girls Rock? It's hard to top something so spectacular. But can you tell us what's coming up in your near future?
Some up-and-coming projects that I'm really excited to share with you are, one, my first CD project entitled Origins. It's in the post-production phase right now. We finally recorded it, and it should be out and ready by January 2013. I have a great lineup of musicians. Rudy Royston will be playing the drums, who's the drummer for Bill Frisell and Ravi Coltrane. I have Corcoran Holt, who's the bass player for Kenny Garrett. I also have Louise Perdomo, who is the pianist for Miguel Zenon. I also have Shirzette Tinin, who's worked with Mimi Jones and Tia Fuller. And I also have Enoch Smith Jr. on piano.
Wow, what a lineup.
This year I had the great pleasure of working as a side woman on a couple of projects. Mimi Jones, I just recorded some flute and vocals for her upcoming album, and she's a dynamic bassist that you should all check out. I also did a project with Shami Royston, and it's called Portraits, which is available today. So you can go on Amazon or iTunes, CD Baby, and purchase it. It's a great CD. She's an amazing pianist and composer, and it was just a pleasure working with her. I also have some other things in the works right now. There's a documentary called But Can She Play, which is produced by Janice Littlejohn, and it's about female horn players who are musicians, you know, today on the scene, making it happen. Thursday, November 29th at 8 p.m., I have a concert at the Jazz Gallery featuring my group, the Camille Thurman Quartet. It's going to be our pre-CD release party. Yay! We finally completed the CD Origins, and we're just in the process of finishing it up and putting some tweaks on it, but we're going to feature all the new music from the CD we just recorded and also have some great surprise guests come out and play with us. So once again, that's Thursday, November 29th at 8 p.m. And you can go to my website to see it, which is www.camillethurmanmusic.com for, you know, the address and location. Or you can go to www.hottonemusic.com. And in December, I'm going to be at the Zinc Bar once again with my group. It's going to be December 17th, which is a Monday night at 7 p.m.
And Camille, just let us know the best way to keep in touch with you, how we can also just watch your career grow and see what you got going on in the near future. If we want to send you a note, we're not sure if you're going to have time to get back to us, but, you know, how we can reach out to you.
You can keep in touch with me and find out what I'm up to at www.camillethurmanmusic.com. And you can also visit me on Facebook at the Camille Thurman New Music page.
So just to reiterate, everyone, Black Girls Rock airs nationally November 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and internationally on November 13th, which is a Tuesday at 8 p.m. Please don't miss it. And as we wrap it up and bring our session to a close, I just want to congratulate you and say thank you, Miss Camille Thurman, beautiful black girl that rocks so hard. Thank you for being with us today and sharing your experience. And if I'm just going to ask you a quick favor, if you don't mind just leaving us with a little something, like a word of the day, or just some note, if there was one thing you could tell us, what would that be?
I would suggest to any up and coming artist out there who is trying to get into the field, a couple of things that I found to be kind of helpful for myself. I would share these things. First, importantly, one, practice. It's so important to practice because you'll be in situations where you won't have time to practice. You'll have to learn the information on the spot, and you won't have your instrument with you. You won't be able to be like, wait a minute, I need 15 minutes to go to my corner or my room. You won't have time for that. So your time to get all those things together is when you're in your room alone with your instrument. That's your time to practice focusing. That's your time to practice the technique. That's your time to practice, receiving information and executing information in a short amount of time. Because as you know, there's many kinds of ways of practicing, not just, running your scales, although that's important too. Also, studying different kinds of genres of music. When I found out I got this gig, I had already studied, a lot of R&B saxophonists, even though I'm from the jazz idiom. I had to do my research. I had to look and see, like, how do we phrase? How do we play? What is too much or what is too little? Those kinds of things. Also, you have to have networking skills. It's important that you break out of your shell of being shy. I'm one of the most shy people in the world, and I had to really tell myself one day, listen, if you're going to survive in this industry, you're going to have to talk, because nobody's going to just walk up to you and be like, here you go, here's everything you need. Because there's a lot of other musicians out there who are just as good as you, and maybe not even just as good as you, or whatever the case is. They're going to be fighting for themselves. Who's going to fight for you? So you have to be able to strike up conversation with people. Do your research. Check out who people are, what they do, because if it's something that is of interest to you, if you have an opportunity to talk to them, that's great. You can just, develop a relationship, and you'll realize that it's really more about the relationship and not really about, how you play or what you play. Although how you play is important, but it's also about that personal connection that you have with that person. That is what leaves a memorable impression on them. Having a great track record is important to have, because when people recommend you, they're putting their career on the line. So you have to be able to have a record that is clean, meaning you come in on time for rehearsals, you learn your music, or if you memorize your music, great. You have a special skill. Like for me, I had perfect pitch, and my mentor, Tia Fuller, who was the original saxophonist, had recommended me to Kim Burse, and one of the key things she said was, hey, this girl can pick up music really fast because she has that skill. So knowing your skills and being able to execute them is super important. Also, having a great personality. Nobody wants to work with a grouch. You should be able to, laugh and be social, and also at the same time be a team player. Be able to know when somebody's in need of assistance, and if the group is at risk for, not being able to complete something, be able to jump in and be able to, work it out with them. Also, having a great look. Make sure that when you come in, you look the part. You look clean, you look professional. There's nothing that anybody can say. Even if it comes down to your personal health, if you have to work out and lose some weight, do it. I strongly suggest it. I, went this past summer through a complete change with my diet because I realized what I was eating was making me sick. And I noticed right away that my body and my weight started to change for the better, because people want to work with people who, are healthy and are dependable and reliable. If you don't take care of yourself, how can they hire you? And most importantly, having a great support system, like family and friends. I have Hot Tone Music, which is my label that I'm part of. They have supported me throughout this entire journey. They push me to strive to do better. Whenever I have an idea, they help me try to work it out and try to figure out a plan and going about it and executing it. If there's something that they know that can help me get to the next level, they'll give me the information and vice versa. Or if I'm like, hey, I have interest in this, but I don't know how to get there, they'll swoop me up and, help position me so that I'm able to be paired with the right people to get me where I need to be. So the label, a family, I had a great support network of, family and also musicians that were like family to me. My girls, Kiku Collins, Tia Fuller, and Kat Rodriguez, they were like family. We all played horns, we were all women, and we were all, interested in this field. We all, loved to do this, and they were so supportive and, putting my name out there and even putting their name at risk just to recommend me. So it's important to have the family.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. You've been listening to In the Moment. This is Keziah Glow signing off. Until next time, as we rock out with a song from Camille, I bid you farewell and take good care.